Hi everyone, this is Jim from CitiBike Walk. I hope you are having an amazing day. Today is Saturday, July 11th, 2020, and I'm here at Houston and 6th Avenue. And so I'll be biking over to 12th Street, and today I'll be doing a tour, a walkthrough of what was known as the Minetta Creek. So yeah, let's get started. If you're surprised that I'm walking along a creek in the middle of the village, I will explain more, but in the meantime, I'm gonna bike over. Yesterday we had a tropical storm Faye, so we had a lot of rain, but it's a really nice day out today. A little bit humid, not too much sun, just some clouds, but otherwise nice day. Yeah, so as I explained, as I said, I'll be walking along what used to be Minetta Creek or Minetta Brook. Obviously you can't see it, but supposedly it might be an urban myth that the creek is hidden below in the underground, underneath the streets of the village. So yeah, I'll be walking along that path, what might possibly be the Minetta Creek. It's a nice day out in the village, and let's see, supposedly there's a CitiBike. I missed the light. Let's see. very popular bagel shop called Murray's Bagel. I think it's on either one of these blocks here. One of these days I'll try it. I've had their bagels before, which is more like a meal. Doesn't seem like a breakfast treat. All right, we're on 11th Street. Okay, confirmed. I'm gonna move over to my chest cam. So I'll be starting at 12th Street. Supposedly according to the map, and I'll have a link down below so you could follow along and see the map. But supposedly that's where it joins from two tributary streams. One starting from around the Flatiron district on 21st and 5th, and the other is it's over on 16th and 6th Avenue. So supposedly there are two freshwater streams and they meet at 12th Street. So actually they meet between 12th and 11th, but the reason why I'm going on 12th Street is that there's an indication of where this creek might be, so it'll be interesting to see. So Minetta Creek gets its name from the Lenape Native Americans. They called it Minetta, which stands for Devil's Water. Sounds very sinister and ominous. I don't know if there's a history of such activities. Oh, it started to rain now. Hopefully I could still continue to do it, but anyways. And when the Dutch settled in to what was called New Amsterdam, they had their own name for the river. I won't attempt to pronounce it, but it was called I think Grandfather's Creek, translated. So yeah, I'm here at the spot where I want to start. Oh, it's raining very heavily right now. Great. Might need some cover. I'll be right back. Alright, it still continues to rain, but I'm gonna go ahead and continue. I did want to start at this point because there's a beautiful old building. Looks like it's mid 18th century building. But if you check out the side of the building, see the angle right here? Look at that. It just juts out like this. So supposedly this building was constructed along the bank of the creek. So yeah, I believe that might be plausible. I can't really confirm it, but it kind of makes sense. I mean, why else would someone build a building like that at an angle, especially the side of the building, at an angle where, you know, most of these buildings are rectangular in shape, so straight lines. Why not just build a straight line? So if you're following along the map, it'll cut through these buildings here, supposedly the stream. But I'm just gonna walk along Fifth Avenue. Obviously I can't walk through buildings. I'm not a ghost yet. And yeah. Alright. So the creek was covered around 1820. I guess to make way for more real estate, and I mean, by that time the creek really didn't have any use. And yeah, most people in the 18th century, mid 18th century, never seen it. So it was, for most of them, it was a myth too, you know, if there was actually a creek. So you kind of have to refer to maps predating 1820 to see if there was a creek. And like I said, the Native Americans and the Dutch, and even the British, according to their maps, did indicate a creek running through the village. That's light. Oh, that's weird light. It's a shot of the beautiful First Presbyterian Church. So we have some people waiting for meals, which is excellent. So where the two tributaries, two streams that I mentioned, they meet in the middle between 11th and 12th Streets. So if you're following along the map I referenced, is from a map maker by the name of Egbert L. Viele. He indicates that there was a stream, and I believe he referred to a British map of the area indicating a stream, and he would be the one called upon to explain why there's flooding within the area. So throughout the late 1800s, early 1900s, you know, anytime there's construction or there's flooding, he always attributed it to the Minetta Creek. So it'll be flowing in the middle of between, you know, 5th and 6th Avenue, towards the middle. So yeah, they decided to cover the stream over in 1820 because the city found at a reservoir called the Croton Reservoir, and that was the main source of water for the city. So they didn't really have a need for this creek that was supplying fresh water to the area. But over time, in the early 1800s, it became dirty and polluted. Yeah. I'm walking along 5th Avenue and I'm approaching the building to 5th Avenue. They used to have a little exhibit commemorating the existence of the creek. They had a little, I'm gonna put a link down below so you can actually see it, but there's a clear tube, plexiglass tube or fiberglass, and each time it rained or the river, the Minetta Creek flowed, you could actually see it splashing up through the tube, and there was a plaque that acknowledged the existence of the creek. Whether or not that's the actual creek, we don't know. I mean, it could be just something they made up, or yeah, this is 5th Avenue. There used to be a little exhibit, but that's no longer here. So we're approaching Washington Square Park, and this is the George Washington Arch. I believe the actual river flows just to my right.
That would be
I'll reference another map, but which is a I don't know, maybe NYU's or Washington Square Park's version of where this river might be. They had made this map so you could kind of indicate you know, where the sites would be, because they were doing renovations to this park. So yeah, we'll cut through just to the right of the arch, so around that area. Actually, I just walked past 8th Street, but further down 8th Street is the Electric Lady Studios, where Jimi Hendrix used to do his recordings. And I guess during the construction of the studio, they did mention that there was flooding in the cellar basement. So whether or not that's part of the creek, we don't know. That's kind of speculation. There's the Washington Street Square Park fountain. It is closed right now with barricades. Let's see.
Coming out of the cloud. Watch, it's gonna start pouring here in a minute. Watch. That's coming out of this cloud right here. You can see it falling. It's like a white haze right there. If you look, you can see it. Water coming out of the cloud right here. It's gonna do what it's gonna see here in a minute. Watch.
Looks like some people are looking for the rain. And I see a sewer here. A little sewer. I don't know if this might run. It's in the path of the creek, but there was there's a link down below. But there used to be he's still here alive, but his name is an urban explorer named Steve Duncan. He actually lifted some of these potholes. To show that there's running water. The water did look very clear, I have to say. Whether or not that's part of the New York City sewer, or maybe it's made as part of New York City sewer. And here are these mounds for the playground. This used to be concrete, and it used to be people skateboarding on this mound, but with the actual turf you won't be able to do that. Yeah, I'll do a separate video on Washington Square Park. But, I'm walking through the area where people play chess. If you're very good at the game of chess, you could come here and play a game. There's some people waiting to play chess. You can play with money or without money. There's no pressure. There's some chess. This area of the park, especially the south and southwestern and northwestern part of the park, used to be notorious for drug dealing. So, I'm gonna walk along MacDougal Street. And it may or may not be the path of the stream. I'm kind of loosely guessing that's where the stream might be, but it'll connect me to Minetta Street and Lane. So I do know those streets do follow the creek, the path of the creek, so that'll be interesting to see. But it is lunchtime. I'm gonna see if I could get a Mamoun Falafel, which is a long time Greenwich Village institution. So their falafels are pretty awesome. So I'm gonna see if I could get one. This street is pretty, MacDougal Street is pretty famous for its nightlife and a lot of cheap eats. And yeah, Mamoun's one of them. Hi. Can I get a falafel?
One?
Yeah.
One falafel. Anything else?
And bottle of water.
Sure. Yeah, it's $5.50. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
All right, thank you, sir.
No problem. Next.
I got my falafel. I'm gonna be right back and see if there's a place I can sit and eat. Alright, I was able to score the side table right outside of Mamoun's. Check this out. Falafel and pita with tomatoes, lettuce. Here's the falafel. Let's have a bite. Yep, delicious. Very nice and tasty. With some tahini sauce. Sorry about the noise, it's a truck backing up. The falafels. The falafels are fried, so they're a mix of parsley, onions, garlic, and some spices, with maybe turmeric, cumin, and yeah, delicious. So for $4.50, can't beat it. Along with the water, the total was $5.50. So yeah. So I'm gonna continue to eat this, and so I can continue the tour of the Minetta Creek. I'll be right back. All right, bye. All right. So that was my lunch. I just finished my falafel from Mamoun's. And yeah, let's continue. A delicious lunch for $4.50. You can't beat it. So I'm here on Minetta Lane. Right on the corner is Cafe Wa, which was where a lot of famous musicians got their start. So Jimi Hendrix, Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, all played here. But there's a, I guess he might be the most famous one. So this is Minetta Lane, which falls along the Minetta Creek. So these streets used to be very dangerous back in the 1800s. I guess along with the Dwyer and Powell Street down in Chinatown. They're kind of similar in that respect, where the streets kind of bend. And yeah, back in the day, this would be a dangerous street where people, you know, can come and surprise you and ambush you. Check this out. I'm walking along Minetta Street.
Рома с утра будет. Завтра сколько работает?
There used to be a movie called Serpico, starring Al Pacino. His character, Frank Serpico, lived on the street. I don't think the actual Frank Serpico lived on Minetta Lane, but it was the actual Serpico did live in the village. But yeah, if you haven't checked that movie out, it's about police corruption in the 70s. Frank Serpico was a good cop who did not take any money from you know, some of the cops were pocketing money from the people they arrested, and yeah, it was pretty rampant rampant situation of corruption and taking money, and yeah, Frank Serpico went against that. It wasn't, and yeah, and there was a movie made about him. I'll have a link down below if you want to check that movie out. But notice these gardens here, beautiful. I'll walk. It's called Minetta Triangle. These gardens weren't originally here. They used to be actual buildings in the 1800s, and they had been leveled off to make more, you know, public spaces, I guess. And I'm approaching West 4th Street. And during the construction of the train station here, there was a New York Times reporter reporting on the construction of the train station, and that reporter did say that he saw a creek here, so it was underground. So here's some more of the garden here. I'll have a link down below. You'll see You see this area, it was cleared off. It's a cool looking fountain. I don't know if that fountain has water in it, but or could produce water. Be interesting to see. And this is the other side of Minetta Lane. So before I just walked into Minetta Street along the curve, but this is down this Minetta Lane. On the other side is Cafe Walk. So all of this area used to be leveled off, for the construction of the West 4th subway station. Alright, I'll walk back down. I'll link the wiki page for the Minetta Creek. Down on the bottom of that page will say, they'll indicate the encounters of the creek. One of which is the St. Vincent's Hospital. They also indicated that they've encountered the creek or some flooding, which may or may not be attributed to the creek. We don't know. I'll walk along Downing Street. I think that might be more or less the path of the creek, since this is where Minetta Street ends and Downing Street begins. So it should flow southwesterly towards the Hudson. Let's see if I can walk this way instead. Maybe not. This is a beautiful park. This one's called the Winston Churchill Square. Let's see. Let's have a walk through. It's a nice little area to hang out. I'm now on Downing Street. These will probably be considered West Village now. It's all the most of the West Village features a lot of beautiful tree-lined streets. Kind of like what you see here with old buildings. It's pretty interesting. Look at the brickwork. Some pieces kind of just stick out like a puzzle. Interesting. Some interesting artwork. Yeah, so whenever you're walking through West Village, it's always good to walk through slowly, look at the buildings. You never know what you might see. So, a lot of interesting sculptures, just, you know, right on the face of the building, on the side of the building. I'm going to be approaching 7th Avenue. Then I might walk around, I think maybe King Street or Leroy Street towards the Greenwich Street. There's some more. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a horse. Horse's head. Pretty cool. So like I said, you never know. Just gotta sometimes look up and you'll see some really cool artwork. This might have been a horse's stable. I mean, that's why the reason for the horse sculpture. See how large this door opening is? So it might have been a horse stable, which is pretty cool. It is starting to rain heavily, so I might have to stop and continue. We'll see. It's been raining a lot past couple of weeks in New York City, so it's been very hot. Actually, as I'm walking through this area, I noticed this Chinese restaurant. I'll link it down below, but I used the Conan O'Brien. He did a segment talking about this Chinese restaurant. It was absolutely hilarious. So I'll link it down below. I'm gonna stop for now. I'm gonna change my battery. My battery's dying. Alright. So I believe the path of the creek continues through on King Street. So I'll walk through here. I just want to show you some signage. So the city is NTA is continuing to closed the subways from 1 through 5 a.m. in the morning to clean their trains, which is great to see. I've ridden the trains a few times. They are very clean, which is good. But I think as the city opens up further, social distancing might be very difficult. But at least it's good to know that the cars are clean on a daily basis. So yeah, if you're following along the map, the stream should kind of go through King Street, and they'll empty out on Greenwich Street, which at the time was the edge of physically the edge. That was the physical edge of Manhattan. All of these streets beyond Greenwich Street, like West Street and West Side Highway, that's all man-made. So they might have filled it in with landfill and construction to physically extend Manhattan outwards. But according to the map, the Manhattan's west side should end at the Greenwich Street, meeting the Hudson River. And at the end of this street, there's a lot of UPS processing facilities with trucks and packages coming through. So there's a construction site here. Be interesting to see if anyone knows anything about this stream, Minetta Creek. There you can see some pipe fittings. So, and definitely check out the links down below where the urban explorer Steve Duncan, he did a tour lifting up manholes and showing people what he believes is the Minetta Creek. And yeah, I'm on Greenwich Street, and this is where the creek should end, and this is where well, back then the Hudson River existed. Alright, I'll do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about the weather, with it raining on and off. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Alright, bye.